morning, everybody. And I'd like to start off with a round of applause to GBB for putting together a great show, really. Is everybody really impressed with this? Thank you so much. Well, first and foremost, I don't have anything as flashy as what we just saw. More grounded, more real. I like to set the stone right. What I'm going to talk about today is about designing sustainable urban communities with manufacturing partnerships. And what the hell does that mean? We have a floor filled with developers and designers building really metropolises of tomorrow. And how would it be if you had direct access to a manufacturing partner who's able to build and design as per your specs consistently? And that's kind of what we're going to dwell into. But first and foremost, a reality check. Grand projects, fantastic to look at, but when you look at site, what you really see is products that don't meet specs, that are not delivered on time, consistent delays that directly impact your KPIs and when the project has to be completed. And this is something we consistently see on site, and this is something your teams have to deal with on the go. Why does this really happen? Well, we believe it's because of the lack of end-to-end support. Once the product reaches your destination, your site, it's no longer the onus of the supplier, and if there's an issue with it, the contractor doesn't want to touch it, and your team is left with having to deal with how do we put this together. It involves a lot of tussle with design, projects, contractors, and the supplier, to name them. And last but not the least, when it comes to outdoor, the Middle East has a climate like no other. We've been there for 25 years and we really know this. Wood that would survive in any other weather just disintegrates in the Middle East. Metal coating that would survive outdoors anywhere else just doesn't survive in the Middle East. C5 atmospheric conditions are standard. And if your product is not designed for that, you have a lot of reality checks waiting for you at site. So, what does this mean? Well, picture this. What if you really had your vision, as imagined at the design board, delivered in reality, with the alignment across the board? How would your dwellers in the cities really feel? How would they engage with the neighborhoods if you're able to deliver the concepts that you imagine? Now, I want to delve into a little bit on the case studies of how we have partnered with projects that you're quite familiar with to be able to do this. First off, NEO, a giga project everybody's really familiar with. We have functioned with them as an outsourced manufacturing unit. NEO is focused on being a circular community. Waste is not waste, it's resource at NEO. And we have co-designed with them the entire waste infrastructure on the collection side. From the smallest bin in the community spaces, all in the private spaces, to the large bins in the community spaces. Now, we've delivered up to 20,000 units, and all of the products are so bespoke that there is no stickering on any of the bins. All of those that you see up there are signages that have been painted on the surface. This is the only way we can guarantee longevity of the product, irrelevant of what the environmental conditions are. The second case study I want to show you is Red Sea Global. With RSG, what started out as a simple public realm supply agreement moved on to involve design capabilities for architectural elements, which includes railings, fences, pergolas, all the way down to play equipment. It became very clear to them that we are able to co-design and co-work with them on a lot of their requirements, and we've consistently done so in the past. But what's special about this is RSG has a requirement on the environmental standards. And we actually experimented with coconut wood as being the standard wood surface for all of their street furniture. But this meets the requirements of having alternatives to hardwood other than bamboo. So we work with bamboo and coconut wood for them. And these are the kind of partnerships that we specialize in. The last case study I'd like to dwell into is Bidar Gate. Of course, very large mandate, the government entity that's developing a serious part of Riyadh. We were working with them on the public realm elements. What I want to bring to the surface here is the specified product was made of pine wood. It arrived at the site and disintegrated. We had to work alongside Cracknell in this regard to actually identify what is the material that would work. And mind you, Dryer Gate has very particular design requirements. They're very focused on being able to deliver a kind of user experience that's unique to their project. And we had to work with them closely to be able to succeed on this. The point I'm trying to make here is, when you work on projects this size, and there's so much bespoke elements involved, failure is bound to happen. But we work hand in hand with the clients to ensure that all the way through to installation and post-delivery, the products function and function quite well. So, how do we do this? So I'd like to introduce what we internally call BDTP, which is a mouthful, but Bluestream Design Thinking Process. Where your goal is our goal. So for this, I need to step back a little bit and tell you who we are, what we do, and why we do it. So we're a design and manufacturing firm based out of Dubai and now in Saudi. We design and manufacture primarily for outdoor spaces, anything and everything in the outdoor space, urban design. Why we do this? This is something we've done for the last 25 years in a market that's neat, that's always had superlative projects, Dubai. And we've fundamentally internalized the process that ensures your success when you try to deliver projects of this magnitude at this pace. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper to understand, to explain what BDTP is really. The Bluestream design thinking process, if any of you are familiar with design thinking in general, is just an inspiration, is just inspired by the general design thinking process. It has 3 phases. Each phase is 3 steps. And we start primarily with the discovery session, where your team sits with our team. It could be your design team, your projects team, your delivery team, and identify your requirements. We take it a step further with concepts, renders, eventually a budget. Phase 2, if the budget's approved, we do prototyping. We mandate a factory visit. So we make sure that you come in, you visit us, and you actually see how the product is manufactured in Dubai. Once that goes through and the revised budgets are approved, we proceed to ensure that the product is manufactured, prototyped, and eventually delivered, also with maintenance if required. Now, I know I'm running out of time, and she did make me promise that I'll finish on time, so I'm going to rush through a bit of this. So for us, this is a real partnership. But partnership hinges on the benefits that you gain from it. One of the primary benefits when you work directly with the manufacturer is having cost benefits around design, procurement, logistics, the tender and the re-tender elements. And we have identified that to be at least 75% audit. How do we work through your procurement policies? Through a last right refusal. If at any point when you go to bidding, you identify our price not to be the best one considering the specs on the table, we're more than willing to match the price that you have on the table. And we have a 100% track record on this. And what's more fundamental for us is this slide right here. It's our promise. And this is the reason why I can tell you, any of the case studies I've shared with you, I'm more than willing to give you live testimonials. You can call them up, ask them how we're doing. Our main focus is customer success. If the product, when it reaches you and when it functions, fails, we are there on site to help fix it consistently. And that's what we do repeatedly, and that is what ensures that we work long-term in a cyclical manner with the mega projects that we've done. Well, I'm well on time. Our story is that we are from Dubai, from the Middle East. We function now across the globe. A little bit of background about the firm. We are a 25-year-old company. We're about 120 people right now. And we have a global reach that can really deliver on large-scale projects. Before I close off, these are the beautiful people that you might see out in the networking spaces. Come by and say hello. Thank you so much for being a fantastic audience. Really appreciate it, and wish you all a fantastic event ahead. Thank you.